So you're out of Cheesesteaks now, doing music, healing through the arts. What is that?
Okay, so in 2017, I lost my son Tony to an overdose. And
sorry to hear that, man.
yeah, it's life altering. And I always say anyone who's lost a child, you could hate someone with every fiber of your being. If you lost a child, you would never wish that pain on them. And so I realized that heroin took his life, but the stigma and the judgment and the way he was treated is what really killed him. And I wanted to make a difference, and I just wanted to die. So I was very seriously contemplating ending my life. Now I have two other children who I love, and I have an ex-wife and a girlfriend who I love unbelievable, and I have family and I have friends, and I finally understood the pain that my son was going through because none of that mattered. I just wanted the pain to stop. I just wanted to stop. And then I realized that those that are struggling with mental health and trauma and addiction becomes the medicating arm of that they just want the pain to stop. They're not, as a parent, you're not doing enough. They're not doing it to you. They're not, they're doing it to stop the pain because of the circumstances. So when you understand addiction is not a choice, it is self-medicating, but it's hard to understand that when you're very capable of coping with life. Like if you're a strong person that can cope with anything that comes along, you find it difficult to understand, well, why can't they just cope with it? And it's not that simple. It's not black and white. It's all gray. And at that point, I was that person. I was the one going, I cannot cope with this, and I want to die. I want the pain to stop. And then I started writing music. A friend of mine, Dan Morrow, who passed away with COVID, who was a beautiful human being and a beautiful soul, said to me, Tony, why don't you start writing music again? And I'm like, no, I just want to die. And he's like, well, why don't you just think about it? And I had a keyboard in the room. And I woke up one morning and I thought that was the night that I was going to do it. And I walked by the room where the keyboard was, and I turned it on and I sat in front of the keyboard and I just banged the keys. And it wasn't a sound that I heard. For the first time, it wasn't a sound, it was a cry. It was the pain that was in my heart and in my soul going through my body, through my fingers, onto the piano and the keyboard, and my pain was coming out the other end. And I could breathe. And then my writing changed. And then I knew that what I write should be something that gives comfort and hope to people, that makes them understand that they're not alone in their pain and they're not alone in that struggle, and that you can never give up hope. I never thought I'd ever smile again. I never. But the music saved my life. And I thought, well, wait a minute. If the music is my therapy, if the music is what I'm self-medicating with, what if we use this to get other people that are struggling to use music or art, sketching or painting as a way to get the pain out of them onto something, onto a canvas, onto a record, onto a streaming service, to get it out, to let people know that, look, I'll always be broken. And people that suffer will be broken. But there's an old thing that we used to say when I was a kid. You can take a vase or a vase, however you want to say it, and you break it. And you look at it and you go, well, it was thrown down with enough force to shatter it. But what people don't realize is if you use epoxy and you glue that vase back together again, it doesn't look like it did, It may not be as beautiful as it was.
Mm-hmm.
It may be loaded with scars and cracks. But not only was it rebuilt, that epoxy actually made the vase stronger. You know, and I tell people, here's a simple thing to remember. When you look at a tragedy as pain, when you blame yourself and you hold that pain, when you blame everyone else around you and you hold that pain, I can promise you that you will suffer till the day you die. But when you look at that tragedy and you find and you dig and you try to find the lesson in that tragedy, what is it that you needed to learn? What do you need to understand? What do you need to forgive yourself for and forgive others around you? When you do that, now it's no longer pain, it becomes a lesson. And lessons make you stronger. Pain makes you weaker.
That's a good quote. That's a very good quote, man. And it seems like you're right where you need to be.
And I think that people that suffer, people that life has been very hard on, can take two roads. They can take a very negative road or a very positive road. But the one thing I know for sure is people that have really suffered, when they take a negative road, it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
But when they take a positive road, it's amazingly good. But we have a choice to pick that road that we want to go in. And I can tell you this for certainty for me. When you hold hate in your heart for anyone or anything, all you're doing is suffering. You're not learning a lesson. You're not learning forgiveness. You're not learning understanding. You're not having empathy. And those things will eat you away inside. I promise you, if you can let go of hate, and I'm not saying it's easy, but if you can do it, you'll never sleep better. You'll be more forgiving for people. You'll understand why people are upset or why they're angry, and you won't hold it against them. It is true, when someone comes at you with hate and you come back at them with love, there is a difference. And you keep thinking, well, no, it's not fair. I got to strike back. Remember, you keep thinking about this world, which is minimal. It's a drop. Our energy is forever. It's forever in the universe. This is what, 80 years, 70 years, 60 years, 100 years? It's a drop in a bucket. This is not the bank account that you want big. You want your spiritual bank account to be overflowing, not this one. I know we need money. I'm not downplaying the fact that we need money. But the spiritual bank is the most important bank that we have. And that's what we should be working about filling.
Agreed. We only have a little bit of time here. Don't worry.
I didn't
man,
get into
worry.
the Sound Mind Network and what we're
doing. No worries. The Church of Tony Luke here, man. No worries. But it's true. We only have a little bit of time here on this planet. Why spend it being negative?
Oh yeah, separating negativity and all these agendas. Well, because there's an agenda from something bigger that is pulling things.
Always.
Like, why they want, and it's a sad that people can't just judge people by them, or we can't. Even when you don't agree with someone, talk to them. Just talk to them. Because let me tell you something. Here's what I do know. If what you know at 20, the way you feel at 20 is the same way you feel at 60, you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
Preach.
The whole purpose is to be a better version of yourself as the years go by. That's why I never understood when people condemn someone that did something 20 years ago and has improved and has not been that. If they didn't do this, they wouldn't be here. We need to make mistakes to get to understand, to be better than who we are.
I think the point is the judgment, though. Why judge? Who are you to judge?
Right, exactly.
Just let people live their life.
Let them live their life.
Let them do their thing. Actually, at the end of it, just mind your business. If you mind your business and let people live their life, everything goes smoothly. Yeah,
and again, as long as no one is forcing anything on you, I tell this to people. If I tell you I'm uncomfortable with that and I'd rather not, I don't want to be a part of that, then just respect that and leave me alone. But I could be sitting at a table and someone could be talking about something I completely disagree with. I'm not going to jump in their face and scream at them. I don't agree with them, and I'm going to act accordingly to what I believe in. Ridiculing someone or showing hate to someone just fuels the fire. There's no. I'm not saying you shouldn't stand up for what you believe in. You actually You should, but there's a way to do it. There's a way to stand up, to be inclusive, and to get a point across, and to listen. Once you go, no, I'm right, you already closed off your ears, and you're never going to learn anything.
And you need buy-in.
Yeah.
All right, so you're two co-founders. How did you guys get involved with each other?
So when Tony died, I had private messaged Joe Nicolo about songs I was writing that could help end the stigma or help people understand. And it's funny because I worked with Joe many, many years ago in music, like a lot.
Really?
Yeah, but my name was Tony Lucidonio, not Tony Luke Jr. So when I Facebooked him, I Facebooked him as Tony Luke Jr. And I was very thin. I had hair back then. It was very different. and I'll never forget this.
You had hair back then,
yeah,
huh?
I still bother him about this story. So I said, listen, hey, Joe, I've written some new music, and I really want you to listen to it, and maybe you can get together, we can produce it, and, make a difference. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He called me, and he goes, hi, Tony, how are you? And I'm like, good. And he goes, listen, you can send me the music, but I have to be honest with you. I'm like, sure. He goes, a lot of people say they're songwriters, but they're not. And I can't lie, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. So now I'm a little confused because I worked with Joe in the 80s. Like, he knows I'm a songwriter. Like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then he calls me back and goes, I love this music. Yeah, I would love to work with you. And I would really like to do something to help, with the stigma and everything. I'm like, yeah, me too. And then we came up with the Sound Mind Network. But it's funny, we were recording a song that I had written, and I'm sitting on the chair like this, and he's sitting behind the board. It's a true story. And he's staring at me. And I'm like, everything all right, Joe? He goes, wait a minute. You're Tony Lucidonio. And I go, yeah. I did not know that till this very moment. I'm like, so all this time you had no idea you worked with me for years? No, I had no idea. He goes, it just clicked that it's you.
Wow.
And we started the foundation, and we brought in Joseph DiGiacomo. John Moser is a big part of this. We had other people that were in and out of the foundation that were incredible people that really helped us. But we didn't know what our footing was. We really didn't have it together. Now all the pieces are coming together. We have a big announcement to make coming up very soon. A huge announcement.
Ooh, is this something for 2023?
For 2023 for Philadelphia and for the Sound Mind Network. It's big news, and I am, I always say, people say to me, it's impossible. Tony, what you're trying to do is impossible. And my answer is always, and again, these are my beliefs. If it's God's plan, it will never fail. I don't care. Every door that will be closed will be open. I believe that. And I'm proof of it in my life. I am proof of it because every obstacle with the Sound Mind Network, where people told me you're never going to work, can't do that, they're not going to work with you, no one will work with you. And they did. And things succeeded that shouldn't have. And people were coming on board that I never thought would come on board.
Life finds a way, man.
Tony Luke's is in my heart and always will be. The frozen food line, the franchises, I will always be part of that. I love food. It is my passion. Music is my life's purpose. Creating the greatest email I've ever gotten was when I released the album. They actually released the entire album, and then it got picked up by a bigger label, and they took it all down. They're releasing one at a time. One More Night is released now. If you go to YouTube and look at the video, I wanted to do a video that was just me and piano with the people that were watching. One More Night is about not being able to say goodbye to someone that you have lost. And the whole song is basically about if they're in your heart and they're always with you, you can say goodbye anytime you want, or you never have to say goodbye to them. So that's the kind of music, and those are the kind of songs that really need to be supported.
That's a beautiful message.
And when I got an email from more people than I can count, but one email sticks out more than anything. A gentleman emailed me and he said, I lost my son in 2013. My wife was so devastated that I lost her in 2016.
Wow.
And he said, I've listened to your music over and over and over again. And for the first time, not only do I feel like someone knows the pain that I'm in, but I feel that there is hope for me. And I remember thinking, if no one else hears this, like, if
you touched one,
and that's the thing. One, when I speak, there could be 500 people, there could be 3. I'm literally trying to connect with one person, just one. I can't cure them. I can't make everything better. I can't make them not. Most people who lose children blame themselves. It's something they think they did. But if I can give them any kind of comfort for 5 minutes, like when I get done speaking, people come up to me and they hug me and they cry, and they just cry, and I cry with them because it's a way to get it out. There was a man who lost his child 17 years ago, cried like it just happened, because it is just it never. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You never get away from it.
No, and I love doing it, and I want to take it. I'll take that. Some people, not everyone is always happy, and you'll never go through this life with someone not offending someone or someone misinterpreting something. But on the whole, you just have to be a good person to you. Like, you have to be the best that you can be. And I think the Sound Mind Network is going to change that in a way that I believe will be monumental, like literally monumental.
Nice, man. Well, we're looking forward to it because you're talking it up and it sounds like a beautiful message. Heard the music, great stuff. And it just seems like you guys are just doing all around good stuff, putting good energy into the world. And that's really what we need right now.
Yeah, so soundmindnetwork.org if you want to know a little bit more about it.
Go check them out. And
One More Night is out now. Give it a check and keep enjoying Cheesesteaks. And know that food is amazing.
For your network, it seems like you're involved with a lot of artists. How do you get involved with those folks?
I've always been around the music. For the last 6 years, I had gotten really back into it again. And I meet different people that play my music, and I'm working in every genre. So I have 2 songs that were just released from some country artists. I'm working with an incredible rapper called Hot Chalk, and I just wrote her new single.
Okay, nice.
I have another single coming out with her. So doing that.
That's 2023? Okay.
And I have some rock tracks that I just wrote for some artists. So I do perform. And I enjoy performing, but I'm a songwriter. Like, that's what I want to do. It's like really the only thing I really want to do as far as music. But I do enjoy performing, especially when it helps people get the message. Because my music is, Maria calls me the male version of Sarah McLachlan. You know, because it's kind of sad. You know, it is about tragedy, and people want to go out. They want to have a good time. They want to hear.
Want to move a little bit.
They want to move. So I'm literally just put together an incredible band to do classic rock, because I do love classic rock. Even though everything I did as a kid was R&B music, like everything was on. It was all on. It's the only thing I ever did.
Okay.
But it's like,
whatever happened to R&B?
It went into hip hop.
What happened? People don't sing about love anymore. People don't want that. Damn.
So and classic rock to me is still very heavy music oriented. And they're fun songs, so I like. They're good songs, and I enjoy doing it. But my heart is always in R&B. Like, I'm about to do a duet with Jesse Kyle.
Okay.
And we're gonna do a duet on the track I wrote called "I've Never Loved This Way," which was originally recorded by Brandy Wells. She recorded that. Brandy Wells recorded that back in the '80s. But it's a lot of the stuff I wrote in the '80s. A lot of the R&B stuff. People are listening to and going, dude, you need to put that, like, you need to redo that. Like, you need to, that sound, that's that Bruno Mars kind of vibe and all these. And if we get done early enough, I'll let you hear some of the tracks. But I meet them going to different places. Like, there's The Rec is a great place where all musicians are getting together now in Philadelphia. David Silver put all that together, and his group and his partners is amazing. Gives artists a place to go. and get things done, Rec Philly is amazing. Gives artists a place to go and get things done. Rec Philly is incredible, and they're branching out as well. And I meet a ton of musicians, and I meet a ton of artists. And in fact, Trevor Gordon Hall is playing guitar with me on an acoustic version of Forever and a Day that I wrote, that we did together. And he's considered one of the best acoustic guitar players in the world, like in the world. So I meet a lot of, I love music. So for me, you
just met these folks and it's kind of snowballed.
Yeah, I always believe
that makes sense.
Puts people in
so
need to be there.
Services. Yeah. I saw on the website you offer some services. So it's really the music therapy, and what other things do you offer to these artists?
Okay, so what we do is we don't actually provide music therapy. We raise money and then give money to organizations that are using music therapy as a base.
Okay.
So we pay them to put people. Now, so far it was a tough run. We weren't making any money. Like took us 3 years, and we're still just catching on. But we did supply money to Say It With Clay and to one other 6 Degrees of 6 Degrees of Bacon, or it's called 6 Degrees, which is a foundation, and some music programs we've given money to start. But we're looking, with this new announcement, we're looking to raise real money and to bring artists on that really have something to say, but have the backing to be able to get them heard. Which is what we know. Joe Nicolo is one of the most brilliant producers and mixers I've ever met. I mean, he co-founded Rough House Records. So,
wow, really?
Yeah, that's Joe. I mean, Joe's got 9 Grammys, 9, and over 150 platinum records.
So you guys are good folks to work with.
Yeah, so Joe is no joke. And
so switching gears here just a little bit, some fun questions. Who's the most famous person you've met?
Wow, I mean, I had the privilege to work with. I mean, I've worked with John Travolta. I did a film with him. I did Gotti. I worked with Dennis Hopper. I worked with Robert Redford. I worked. I mean, I worked with William Forsythe. I worked with.
Well, I did see a picture with you and Will Smith.
I didn't work with Will Smith.
Oh, but
I
you
know
met
Will Smith. I met. Yeah, I met. I was very, very, very good friends with his dad, and musically, I've worked with so many people. I've been very blessed. I've worked with Michelle Pfeiffer was in a movie with her. You
gotta give me one. Who would you say the most famous is?
Oh God, I really can't. And they're all my friends. I cannot pinpoint one. You'll put me in a really bad.
Put you in a bind?
Yeah, because.
Okay, so full disclosure, forcing him to give me one. Can I get one?
I cannot. I will tell you that everyone I worked with was really amazing. I'll tell you who was one of the most beautiful people I've ever worked with was John Travolta.
Okay.
He's just a beautiful human being.
And why do you say that?
Because he's just a caring, loving, beautiful human being. I mean, to work with and be around, and the way he treated everyone, on set, everyone that he worked with. Dennis Hopper, same thing. Dennis
Can you tell us a story?
With Dennis?
Either one. Dennis,
I'm going to tell you a good story with Dennis. So we're filming 10th and Wolf, and I played the underboss in that movie, and Dennis is the boss. And we're in a scene where we have to drive up and tell Giovanni Ribisi that his dad is dead, like in the movie. So they have to hose everything down because it was raining the scene before. And we're sitting in the car, and it's taking a long time. And a PA comes walking up, and he goes on to Dennis's side, and he says, "Mr. Hopper, I want to apologize. It's taken so long, and we just got to get it right. And I know it's been a while, but give us about another 15 minutes, and we're gonna do it." And I was like, "Okay." And Dennis Dennis said, "All right." And then he started to walk away. He goes, "Excuse me." He goes, "Anything else?" And the kid goes, what do you mean? Is there anything else you would like to say?
Mm.
And he goes, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. He goes, because, I see someone else in the car. And the kid goes, oh, Tony. And I go, Dennis. It's all good. I heard. He goes, no. You don't understand. This is what I'm trying to teach him. I'm an actor, Tony. You're an actor. When he comes to the car and addresses me with his concerns and does not address you, he's saying that I'm more important than you are. And I'm not. We're both in the car. We're both waiting to do the scene. And I just want him to understand that treat all actors the same. Treat all people the same.
You get far.
Right. Like just, if you're going to treat me with respect, treat the person I'm with respect, or you're making, and I go, Dennis, the truth is you're a major star. I'm a nobody. He goes, yeah, but that's not what I want to try to teach him.
Yeah.
We're both working. I'm no better, no worse than you are. Better, no worse than I am. We're doing a movie. If you're going to address me in a situation that involves you, then he should learn to address both people, to show respect for both people. So that was amazing. And I know one more story about Dennis, because this is actually kind of funny. So we're doing the scene, and I'm going to have him killed in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes in, and he wants me to make him a cocktail, and I know they're about to kill him. And he says, hey, Rocco, you think I'm going to get lucky tonight? And I'm mixing the drink, knowing that he's going to get killed. And I go, uh-huh. And then they burst in, and they kill him.
Yeah.
And then they look at me, and they go, state buono, like, is it good? And I go, uh-huh. And I'm mixing the drink. And we cut. That was what they call the master shot.
Yeah.
So now he's got to get squibbed for the...
And what's squib?
Well, they put these charges, like, under, so when the gunshots go off, they blow up and blood shoots out.
Okay.
So they're called squibs. So I got to deliver... he's got to deliver the line to me, hey, Rocco, because it's my close-up, not his.
Yeah.
So now the camera's on me, and he has to, the line is, hey, Rocco, am I going to be... But now he's got to get squibbed up, and he's the star. He doesn't give the line. He leaves, gets squibbed, and a PA or someone else comes on and gives me the line for my reaction on the close-up. So they go, Dennis, come on, we're going to screw. He goes, no, I'm giving Tony the line. And they're like, no, Dennis, you don't have to give him. He goes, no, I want to give him the line. Like, he was showing me respect. I'm going to give you the line. So
that's a good dude.
He's a great, so he gives me the line. That's a guy that's been in it for so long, and he gives me the line. So now I love playing, like, I like busting stones. So he goes and he gets squibbed, and he comes back, and he's all squibbed up, and now he's got to give his close-up, and I got to give my line. Well, the lights are super bright, so you can't see what's behind the light. So Dennis is there, and he goes, time for my line, Tony. And he goes, I'm going to do the script. I'm like, yeah. I said, I wish I could watch you get killed, Dennis, but I'm starving, and it's lunchtime, and I can't. A PA will give you the line. I mean, he'll give you the line. You don't need me. And I left, and you could see, like, now everyone's in on it but him. So now I walk around, and now it's dark, and the director knows, and I go, and I walk around where he can't see me, and I go behind the lights where he does not know I'm there. And I literally see how, like, he just feels disappointed, like, wow.
Like, oh, man.
Man, like, I thought he was, and so he goes, so the director goes, action. And he goes, hey, Rocco, you think I'm going to get lucky tonight? And I go, I don't know, Dennis. You tell me. And he went, Tony? And I went, Dennis, you think that I would leave you hanging? And he had the biggest smile on his face.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's nice, man. That sounds like a class act right there.
It was really awesome. Yeah.
Hey, man, it's been great speaking with you. Thank you for coming on the show. Last question. What do you think about the show?
I love what you're doing. Are you kidding me? You're gonna. First of all, I've always been fascinated with real estate because I know nothing about real estate. And I've been trying to put my middle son is a manager at a company, And my youngest son is a nurse. He works at Cooper. So, you know, he wanted, you know, that was his purpose. That's what, you know, all is great. But I kept telling them, you need to take some kind of a real estate course, because the one thing that I was always taught from a kid is brick and mortar is brick and mortar. You know, investments will go up, they'll go down, but property. I used to make fun. One of my dearest friends, a guy named Frank Borda, and he has a place now his son opened called Borda's Italian Eats. Great, literally great pizza. Like, I can tell you that. Great pizza, great sandwich, amazing. Well, he would work when we were kids. Like, you know, I was the South Philly guy. He would work, hang out, and get into trouble. He'd work, he had a pizzeria, and then he'd save money and he'd buy an apartment building. And we'd be buying cars and hanging out. And he's working, he's in there spackling. I'm like, Frank, you're not enjoying anything in your life. Like, all you do is work and buy property. And he's like, well, you know, you gotta be. Let me tell you something. He's my age now.
He's having a lot of fun now.
I'm struggling. Everyone is struggling. Frankie is able. I love the fact that he worked so hard, and he's able now to take a little bit of the pressure off. You know what I mean? He's not like going, oh my God, what am I going to do for my next meal? How am I going to pay my next bill? But again, the man worked from literally when he was 16. And he's my age now. Never stopped working. But he didn't just go buy cars and buy fancy jewelry. He went and he bought property. That every penny he made, he bought property. He bought property. He bought property. He bought property. And we were laughing at him, and now I'm like, oh my God, I wasted all my life. Because at one point I was doing really well. And I'm like, you know, I don't have anything to show for it. Because they bought jewelry and cars and clothes and dinners. And they didn't invest any of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, but you learn.
Yeah, live and you learn, man.
Live and you learn.
Hey, hopefully when it's on the up and up, you're in the real estate game.
Well, you'll be my first phone call, my friend.
Definitely, man. Thank you for coming on.
God bless you.
You too, man. Hey, Philadelphia, and that's a wrap. You're tuned into the Down Money Show, where if you're talking real estate, you're talking money down, you're talking down money. Peace. There we go. That's a wrap.
Oh. That was wonderful. Thank you.
No problem, man. It was a good show, man.